Absa just got revealed at Combo Breaker as our next free Rivals 2 DLC fighter. She'll be debatably our first real zoner, and add a lot of nuance to the Rivals roster. Today, I want to break down the trailer and go over what you can expect from the new fighter. A quick heads up, all the info in today's video is going to be based on the trailer that they showed. So some of it might be a little bit speculative since there's some new mechanics that we don't know too much about. With that being said though, let's take a quick peek at Absa's lore and her general kit, and break down the trailer. If you just want to get to that though, everything's timestamped down below, so feel free to skip around. Absa is our third addition to the air element, and as I mentioned, the first true zoner of Rivals 2. She's based on Smash Bros. Brawl's Zelda, according to Dan, which is kind of ironic since she shares a lot of traits similar to PM Zelda and P Plus Zelda. However, I think they were developed around the same time, making it a happy accident. The Storm Architect has a super unique kit, however, with placeable clouds that she can use to attack, control space, and extend her forward, back, and down air sweet spot hitboxes, which all act pretty similar to Zelda's in Smash Bros. She has a Pikachu-esque up B as well as super floaty movement. To be honest, her movement kind of reminds me of Mewtwo, but in the Rivals engine, it's a lot more precise and interesting, at least in my opinion. Lore-wise, Absa lives atop Tempest Peak, and as we saw in the trailer, she's looking for the Wind God. According to her blurb from Rivals 1, she preferred to study and learn techniques for controlling storms more than necessarily training to become a warrior. She's clearly got the skills to fight though, and she's one of the flying elementals who's sadly unable to fly, which as we saw in her trailer led to the divide within the Flying Nation. The warriors that could fly decided to declare war on the Fire Nation, most notably Zetaburn and Loxodon and all of their friends, while the non-flyers prefer to live a much more peaceful life, which is why they stay up in the mountains. Hopping over to the part of the video that we've all been waiting for, let's break down that Absa trailer. To start, we see Absa's taunt, which I assume you'll be able to hold like fleets to make it go indefinitely. That's not super gameplay relevant, but I think it's fun to point out. We then see our dash attack Raster, who is probably at a lower percent based on this knockback here. They don't show us the percent, so we can't really tell, but we do see this really cool skeleton model show up whenever anyone's electrocuted. Kinda like what Pikachu would do in Smash 64, I think it's a pretty sick detail. The dash attack does seem a little laggy truthfully, since when we slow down the clip, we see that Raster probably has time to press a button before being hit again. This is pretty standard for a dash attack, but I thought it was worth pointing out. On the other hand, however, we then see Absa use a neutral air with a hit fault that doesn't seem laggy at all. The move fully drag downs and connects into a jab, which is then cancelled into a forward tilt. For those not in the know, Absa's forward tilt is a 2-hit move cancelable after the first hit. She uses both hits here, with the first being a small lightning punch, and the second being a bolt projectile follow-up. It's kinda cool to have a projectile mapped to a tilt in this way, since it's super telegraphed due to the two-part nature, but gives her more control at long range besides her cloud. The bolt most notably knocks Raster up, which means it should be a good combo tool in the game when she finally launches. There's a quick editor's note, I'm adding this in after I'm done with the script and the video, but all of her moves knock up I've noticed, so they'll all kinda combo together based on her laddering. She then finishes this clip with a forward strong, which doesn't look to be true since Raster holds in, but it's definitely cool and the move's still a multi-hit, just like in Rivals 1. Our next clip takes us to Julesville, with Absa parrying a Fleet Arrow and then using her side B to control cloud placement and knock Fleet back towards her, as seen here. The cloud still has a solid amount of hit stun, and Fleet stays in tumble, meaning you'll be able to use it for combos just like Rivals 1. Absa then down tilts, which sends out and up before popping the cloud again with a short press of the neutral special. There's two kinds of neutral special inputs to interact with the cloud, but we'll see the other one here in a minute. This hit gives more hit stun than the cloud did, and confirms into Absa's up strong, killing Fleet off the top. We then travel over to the Crystal Oasis and fight against Crag. We see Absa's wave dash here, and it looks pretty sizable, but more importantly, it looks really fast, allowing her to grab Crag and down throw him. Visually, this throw reminds me a lot of Ness or Zelda's throws, which she then wave dashes out of, and I believe does an up tilt. The animation's a little hard to tell here, cause Crag's in the way, so let me know if you think I got it wrong. It definitely looks like a slightly slower tilt, however. Absa then combos Crag with her lightning kicks, and this might be a trick of the trailer since she's fighting Crag, but the hitbox does look pretty consistent from what we see here. The visuals are really cool too, but that's been a consistent throughout this trailer, so it's nothing new. Before we hop over to the next clip, I want to let you know that I'm giving away a Hockey Loxodon skin to one person that comments on one of my upcoming videos before mid-June. If you want a chance to win, leave a comment down below, and if you like Rivals 2, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button while you're there. Moving on to our match with Maple, we see Absa down strong super quickly out of the dash. This move does look a bit laggy however, so I imagine its frame data is around the same ballpark as Arcane's down strong, making it not safe to throw out, but strong is a call out option. She then hits Maple with the Cloud and then uses down B. Down B has two inputs just like neutral B, and we'll talk about the long input in a minute, but the short input that we see here puts a timer on the Cloud, and when the timer is up, the Cloud explodes, doing huge knockback in whatever direction it's hitting, which, unfortunately for Maple in this clip, is straight into the blast zone. Next up, we're fighting our Polar Bear bud and see him land a forward air on us, knocking us down, but giving us a chance to see Absa's get up special. It looks like it hits above and then to the sides of Absa, but I can't be 100% sure, since it could just be extra electrical effects, or it could be an actual hitbox. Either way, however, we know that it hits up and away, meaning it'd also be really great for comboing. We however don't opt to combo here, and instead use that second version of down B that I mentioned. This one takes a longer input, but it doesn't look like it takes as long as an input as Rivals 1. This places a timer on Absa, and when this timer runs out, Absa explodes with electrical energy, knocking away anyone hit, just like the Cloud did to Maple. However, if Absa is hit when this timer is happening, she loses her charge. At least that's how it worked in 1. We luckily don't see that happen here though, since Absa's up B to the platform, then dunks Edelus. I wonder if there's some movie magic happening here since Edelus armor dashed the dash attack, but exploded whenever he was hit with down B, and fair armor is only really great for blocking moves at lower percents, meaning that Edelus would probably be at mid percents at most when the down B hit. Maybe it's really that strong, but who knows. Traversing over to Fire Capital, we see Absa place a Cloud with neutral B to dodge a grab from Loxodon. Placing a Cloud gives Absa a little hop, which I didn't mention earlier. It's great for mix-ups like this. We then see her pop the Cloud with neutral B and then grab Lox. This looks true to me and super lagless, but it's only a trailer so I can't be too sure. She then special pummels Loxodon, removing his line art and then throwing him. This back throw, like many for other moves since up and out, allowing Absa to connect a Cloud onto him. This Cloud however sticks to Loxodon. I think this property is given by the special pummel since we see instances earlier in the trailer of the Cloud giving normal knockback to enemies. This stick allows Absa to pop the Cloud and then land a lightning kick on everyone's favorite leader of peace and prosperity, Loxodon, to secure a KO. For our final clip, we see Absa get her revenge on Olympia for stealing her spotlight at the Hodojo. These last clips are always super impressive, so let's really break it down. First, we see Absa auto-cancel an up air, which looks just as huge as his Rivals 1 variant. I expect to see a lot of complaints about that move, and I'm kinda surprised at how fast it cancels here, since that move was pretty laggy in Rivals 1. We do see that Olympia's out of hit stun before Absa hits her again, showing that this is sadly some kind of smoke and mirrors combo for the trailer. Absa then lands a lightning kick on Ollie before pulling Ollie back in with the side B use of a Cloud. She connects a nair, a grab, an up throw, and then an extended lightning kick that I mentioned earlier. This only happens when you sweet spot the Cloud, but its hitbox here looks massive. Personally, I'm a little scared the hitbox actually matches that visual, I won't lie, but I also play Arcane, so recovering against Absa is someone else's problem to worry about, not mine. Absa then up B's Olympia, cancelling the move on hit into a sour spot back air, forcing a tech jump from the wall and landing another Cloud with side B. Ollie blocks the knockback by cancelling her down B, since if I had to guess, this Cloud wouldn't have sent her into a great spot for a combo. But Absa counters that down B with a drag up nair. This nair takes Ollie from below the platform to being on it, which is pretty interesting since you don't see that very often in plat fighters. She gets a grab out of this, which doesn't look true, but does earn her a special pummel. She then throws Olympia into the Cloud with a forward throw, which probably has solid knockback based on what we see here. This clip makes me think that using special pummel will make any Cloud Absa connects to you stick as long as you're still electrified. Since in the last clip, we saw Lox get the Cloud stuck to him with side B, and in this clip, we see Olympia thrown into a pre-existing Cloud. This allows Absa to up air and then use the long press of neutral special I hinted at earlier. This one's a lot slower, but a lot stronger. It knocks opponents up as long as they're touched by the lightning bolt, which, unfortunately for Olympia, is straight into the upper blast zone. We then see Absa's victory screen, which looks to have a lot of personality in it, with the cloud flying around and bugging our good buddy Absa. Before we close out, this trailer did leave me with a small question, and I'd love to hear what y'all think down below. I'm personally super curious about how you'd remove or play around a special Pummel, Cloud Sticky. On one hand, it's pretty hard to set up, since you need to land a special Pummel, which is kinda rare, and then connect to Cloud, which in a real game can be pretty hard unless you combo into it. On the other hand, it seems really strong, like in the Olympia and Locks clips, it guaranteed a kill confirm. This makes me wonder if there's a way to remove the Cloud from you, or at least get the electrified debuff that you'd have before getting Stickied removed. We sadly don't see an instance of this since the trailer ends, but I thought I'd point it out and I'm super curious to see how she'll work in game. That just about wraps us up for today. Thanks tons for watching until the end, and let me know if you're excited for Absa, or if you're hoping for someone else. Speaking of someone else, I have a video on screen right now of me guessing who I think DLC 4 will be. Truthfully, I was on the fence about Absa being this year, but I'm really happy to see her. I think my speculation video has some pretty good guesses for our 4th character, so go check it out. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye for now!